Hello everybody, it's Sarah, and as you can probably tell from the title and also the massive stacks of books here right behind me, it is time for the part 2 of my yearly series videos in which I share with you all the series on my shelves that I have finished either this year or once upon a time in the past. And since we have over 60 series to get through, let's start. And as always, I will start with the series that I had already finished previously to 2022 and end with the series that I only just finished this year. And yeah, I won't tell you too much about the series. I might tell you the genre, and I'll probably tell you how many books there were in the series, and also in no particular order. I will try to keep authors together, but honestly, no promises. I just pulled the series out of my shelves, so I'm just gonna get to them in whichever order. But starting, I have the Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. This is a trilogy. It was the second series within the Shadowhunters Chronicles universe. I obviously also read the 6 books in Immortal Instruments, which was the first series, I guess, in the Shadowhunters Chronicles, and the third series that has so far been finished in the Shadowhunters Chronicles was The Dark Artifices, which I have also read. A few years back, I finished the Folk of the Air trilogy, which starts with The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I don't own all books anymore because I unhauled the majority of the series, but I did finish the Witcher series by Andrzej Sapkowski. I only own the first 2 short story collections anymore though. A series I finished a few years back was the Nevernight trilogy by Jay Kristoff, and then we're already done with the first of like 10 stacks I have around here with the Gumiho Wicked Fox duology by Ket Cho. I don't know what this duology is called exactly. The first one is Gumiho Wicked Fox, the second one is Dokkebi Vicious Spirits. Next, I have a series where I'm not exactly sure, to be honest, if this series is even in the right video, because the last book didn't feel like a last book, but also there hasn't been a book announced for a few years in this series, and that is the Mary Gentry series by Laurel K. Hamilton, which I believe is 8 or 9 books. Staying with the paranormal fantasy, I have the Spook Squad trilogy by Carrie Arthur, and the second series I finished by Carrie Arthur was the Riley Jensen Guardian series. I think there was like 9 books in this series, if I remember correctly. By the way, this video obviously, as always, is not all series I have ever finished. It's just a series that I have finished where I still have books on my shelf, so you won't see Twilight, for example, because I don't own those books anymore. Next, I have the Cursebreaker series by Bridget Camera, which started with A Curse So Dark and Lonely, and it's 3 books. I still love these spines so much. They're the only reason I still own the series, to be honest, because I did not like the second or third book. Let's quickly get through the Robin Hobb trilogies. I have finished all the series I have finished by Robin Hobb are in the realms of the Elderlings. First, I have the Farseer trilogy, which obviously starts with Assassin's Apprentice. I have the Life Ship Traders, starting with Ship of Magic. And the last trilogy I finished by Robin Hobb was the Tawny Men trilogy, starting with Fool's Errand. Then next, some N.K. Jemisin. First, I obviously finished the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. I also read the Dreamblood duology, which is made up of The Killing Moon and The Shadowed Sun. And lastly, I also read the Inheritance trilogy by N.K. Jemisin, which starts with The 100,000 Kingdoms. One of the first series I finished last year, and a series I kind of want to go and reread, was the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden, starting with The Bear and the Nightingale. Amongst the many series she has written, there are 2 Juliet Marillet series that I have actually started and finished. The first is the Wildwood Dancing duology, which is like YA historical fantasy. And then I also finished the Seven Watchers series, which consists of 6 books, if I remember correctly, starting with Daughter of the Forest. Going back to some YA, I first have the Blood of the Stars duology by Elizabeth Lim, being made up of Spin the Dawn and Unravel the Dusk. And then I also read The Wrath and the Dawn duology by Renee Ahdieh. Let's tackle these stacks for a bit, and I will try my best not to push them over. First I have the Chronicles of the Bitch Queen. This is a trilogy written by K.S. Veloso. I only have the second and third book with me currently though, because the first one is one of the many books I lent to Scylla. I also finished the Daevabad trilogy by S.A. Chakraborty, and I am actually very excited for the next book that she is going to publish. It's one of my most anticipated releases for 2023 because it sounds very interesting. Also because I'm here right now, and I am sorry I didn't mention it at the beginning of the video, but I am kind of tired. It's just the past weekend from me filming this video was very exhausting to me. But I just remembered because S.A. Chakraborty is being published by Harper Voyager, and this series was published by Harper Voyager as well. And obviously the strike, the union strike for the HarperCollins union is still going on, and so far like the last news I got was like, I'm not sure if we're still supposed to hold back reviews, but the last news that I got was that we don't necessarily have to, you know, stop mentioning Harper Voyager books in our videos for like booktubers and stuff, but that if we mention some of those videos, we also make sure to mention the strike that is currently going on. So I guess that's what I'm doing right now on the internet. Like, I will try to find some of the links on Twitter that I found and stuff, how you can support them. I will leave them linked down below. And so yeah, that's just a little disclaimer note, I guess. I will start mentioning Harper Voyager books again. I still won't review, like have any dedicated reviews for them so far, but then again, I'm not currently reading a lot of Harper Voyager books or HarperCollins books. That's what I wanted to say. But if I make videos like this, and also I think the thing that was talked about was in, you know, best of and worst of lists of the year. So if I mention any HarperCollins books, then I will try and also mention the strike, should it still be going on when I upload those videos. But now back to talking about the series that I have finished in my life. So the next two series are two series by Joanne Harris. First I have the Rune Lights duology, and then I also, in the same world, have the Loki duology. Both, obviously, as I just mentioned, by Joanne Harris. Two books that I'm not quite sure if I should count them as a series, but you know, they're a book and a sequel, so I guess that's what a series is The Handmaid's Tale and The Testament by Margaret Atwood. Another series question mark is the African Trilogy by Chinua Achebe. This is a series of 3 shorter stories that are somewhat connected, like they follow different people from different generations of the same family, if I remember that correctly. A man where you'd think I should have more finished series by him by now, with how much he pushes out books, but most of the series that I finished by him, like the one other series that I finished by him, I've honestly on hold, but that person is Brandon Sanderson, and I have finished the Mistborn series by him. Because contrary to popular belief, while he pushes out a lot of books, he's not actually that good at finishing series. He has only 3 finished series so far. An author where I so far also only have 1 finished series on my shelves, but that's due to no other's fault than my own, is Joe Abercrombie with the First Law trilogy. One of the series that probably has been on my shelves for the longest time is the Inkheart trilogy by Cornelia Funke. I only have the second and third book right here because the first one is still with my little sister. Then let's move on to some Trudy Canavan. I have quite a few of her series that I have finished, however I won't have them all together because one of them is at the very bottom of one of the stacks and I can't get to it yet. And the other one is at the very top, so I need to talk about it next. And that series is a series that is technically again new to my shelves, and that is the Age of 5 trilogy. I only own the first 2 books in English, however, and I decided that I wanted to reread this trilogy in 2023. So I got it from my bookshelf at my mom's and moved it back onto my shelves here. The one middle grade series that I have on my shelves is, of course, Percy Jackson and the Olympians. I unhauled The Heroes of Olympus, I think this year or last year, so this is currently the only Rick Riordan I have on my shelves. Next I have another oldie on my shelves, so old in fact that this series I still only own in German, and that is the Rhiannon's Ride trilogy by Kate Forsyth. An author I own quite a bit from is Jennifer Fallon. First I have the Second Sons trilogy. Then I have the Tide Lords Quartet. I only have the 2 first books right here, right now. The other ones I also own, but they're like in the back somewhere and I was too lazy to look for them. Then I have the Demon Child trilogy, and I'm running out of space to put books, so let me try and get this one. That was dangerous. That just full-on slipped into a stack, but the stack somehow didn't fall over. But the last Jennifer Fallon trilogy that I have is the Hydron Chronicles. Second Trudy Canavan trilogy I have is the Traitor Spy, I believe, trilogy. Yeah, the Traitor Spy trilogy, which is the second trilogy in the world of the Magician's Guild, which I will get to later. Then I have some YA stuff. First I have the Crown of Feathers trilogy by Nikki Pau Preto, the Gilded Wolves trilogy by Roshani Chokshi, Northern Lights by Philip Pullman, and last of the YA middle grade for now is the Narnia series by C.S. Lewis, which of course is 7 books. A somewhat duology I own is the Women of Troy duology, although these 2 are a bit more like companion novels, I would say. As a fantasy nerd, I of course have also finished The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien, although I guess it's debatable whether or not this is a series or whether or not it should be considered one book. So next I have 3 trilogies that I will just try and hold up very quickly right now. All of these trilogies are set in the same universe, which is the Emerged World. They are by an Italian author, Licia Troisi. I am not 100% sure what the second and the third series are called. The first series is called The Chronicles of the Emerged World, and it starts with Nihal from the Land of the Wind. And the other 2 trilogies, I think one of them is called The War of the Emerged World, and the other one don't know, like I can't remember whatsoever. Next I have 2 Tessa Gretton duologies, although with both of those it's kind of one of those deals where it's mostly like 2 companion novels. The first of those I have is Nightshine with Nightshine and Moon Darksmile, and then I also have the Inishlia duology, which is a duology of Shakespeare retellings in a fantasy setting. And now here we are at my final Trudy Canavan finished series with the Black Magician series, which obviously also is a trilogy. Moving on, I have some Anne Bishop, although currently of the 4 series that I've read by her, only 2 are finished series once again. The first is the Ephemera series by Anne Bishop, obviously. I don't know, for some reason, whenever I say a series, I always want to say by X, Y, and Z. Actually, I did a fuck up. The series earlier wasn't the Ephemera series, it was the Tura Lane trilogy. This one is the Ephemera series by Anne Bishop, which I have also finished. Next, I have an author who's often recommended to fans of Anne Bishop, and so I've also obviously finished one of her trilogies, and that is the Kushiel's Legacy trilogy. Well, the first trilogy in the Kushiel's Legacy series, which is Phaedra's trilogy, starting with Kushiel's Start. And by the way, I'm just gonna say it now. I don't know, maybe I will have already uploaded an announcement by then, in which case I will leave it linked down below. But starting January, me together with some other lovely booktubers are hosting a read-along for all of the Kushiel books as well as the Nama books by Jacqueline Carey, so a total of 9 books. If all the info is out already, I will leave it linked down below, and if not, you heard it here first. So one of the last YA series I have is the Bring Me Their Hearts trilogy by Sarah Wolfe. Then I have the Draconis Memoria series by Anthony Ryan. I have somehow made it through the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. This obviously is 15 books, so I'm not holding that up. Like, you might have noticed that with duologies and trilogies I held up all books, but not with this one. Since I started BookTube, I have also read the Codex Alera series by Jim Butcher, which is kind of funny because when I first started watching BookTube, quite a few of the fantasy booktubers that I followed were talking about this series. Like, it wasn't hyped by any means, but you know, it also wasn't unheard of. And now I haven't seen anyone mention the series for like ages. And then the last of the series that I finished before 2022 is the Bartimaeus sequence by Jonathan Strout. I also lent out the first book in this trilogy. And now we can get to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 series, I believe, that I finished this year. First, I have the Empire trilogy by Raymond E. Feist and Jenny Wirtz. Although I always feel like I have to mention that, I feel like this is mostly Jenny Wirtz and Raymond E. Feist is just there because it's set in his world or something. But yeah, I believe I only read the 3rd book this year. Then I also finished the Greenbone saga by Fonda Lee. I read Jade City last year and the last 2 books in this series this year. Really enjoyed it. I finished the memoirs by Lady Trent. The first 2 books I read last year. The last 3 I read this year. And this series is by Marie Brennan. I believe I forgot to mention the author here. The final book in the Invisible Library series came out by Genevieve Cogman, and so I read that one. This series in total has 8 books. And the last series for this video is the A Chorus of Dragons series by Jen Lyons. I of course did my read along this year, and the last book came out this year, and I just loved it so much. This has truly become one of my favorite series of all time, and so really the perfect series to finish this video with. And so yeah, since this video has probably gone on for a while, let's just quickly wrap it up. Tell me in the comments down below, how many finished series do you have on your bookshelves? I'm not gonna count it right now, to be honest. My spreadsheet says 65, but I'm not sure if I caught all series on my spreadsheet yet, so you know, I guess we're just gonna go with 65 right now. If you enjoyed this video, maybe think about giving me a thumbs up and also maybe subscribing. All the links to my social media as well as to my book club of Queens, Witches and Valkyries, where I read 1 adult high fantasy book written by a woman or genderqueer person per month, will be left linked down below, so go and check those out, and I hope I'll see you very soon. Bye!